Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review of Chinatown by Bond Number 9. I know I've done a review of this before, but when I did that I'd only just received my first sample of the fragrance. Since then I've had a really long history with Chinatown. Kind of all started with that time I first got the bonbon sample. I instantly fell in love with this. Before then I had heard a lot about this fragrance and I was really dying to try it out, and eventually when I did I just fell instantly in love with it. Since then I've had multiple samples. I've even had the 6ml bonbon sample, and eventually it got to the point where people stopped kind of selling them, and so I had to resort to getting dupes of this fragrance. I tried one dupe that was a really good close match. It was from a Portuguese company, although since then I've been unable to find it again, and I've tried two from an English company that smelled nothing like the fragrance. I was really disappointed in them. So I got to the point where I thought, okay, I really love this fragrance, I really want this fragrance, I'm just going to have to get the fragrance. So I finally have it, found it at a decent price. So yeah, I can do the proper review. I'm so happy. So basically, Chinatown for me is, if I lined up all the fragrances that I have, and in this video today I will post below my Fragrantica profile so you can see what fragrances I have. Of all the fragrances I have, this isn't my favourite, it's probably top three. My first being Italie d'Orange is Tilda Swinton Like This is my favourite fragrance, and then Odour Protection by the same company. So this is probably my third favourite. But of all my fragrances, I feel like this one suits my personality the best. It's the most, when I smell this I just feel really comfortable. With the other two fragrances, even though I do prefer them to this fragrance, I feel like it's not really me. I feel like it doesn't really suit my personality. For example, when I wear like this, I feel like Tilda Swinton. I feel like it suits Tilda Swinton, and that's why she designed it. And I'm not Tilda Swinton. I would love to be like Tilda Swinton, but I'm not. Odour Protection as well as a super confident rose fragrance, really beautiful. And I just feel like that's not me as well, even though I obviously love to wear those fragrances. With this one, I just feel like it's a little bit of a clumsy fragrance. It's you know, both playful and mature. I'd say that it has elements of both, and that's why people love this fragrance from being very young to being very old. I think this would suit a 20-year-old who has the right kind of personality for it, and it would suit a 50, 60, 70, 80-year-old as equally as much. So there's a lot of juxtaposing, I can't say that word. There's a lot of differences with this fragrance. It's not a linear fragrance, it's not a straightforward fragrance. It's a little, yeah, it challenges you a little bit, which I like in a fragrance. So, okay, I'll just show you everything that I have for this fragrance. I hope that all made sense. I feel like I have such like artistic temperament. I find it really hard to explain anything, I think. Okay, so this is the bag that it comes in. Says here, Making Sense of New York on the side here. And it also has this tissue paper, which I'm going to keep because it's really cute. It has all these little stamps, Bond Number 9 on. And then the box, I feel like the inspiration behind the box is like a record sleeve, although obviously it's more three-dimensional than a record sleeve. That's the front, and that's the back. And on the inside, I'll just pop the fragrance in so you can see it. And that's what the fragrance looks like when you open it. Okay, so onto the bottle. The bottle of this, all the Bond Number 9 bottles are beautiful, they're like works of art. So here it is, this is the front, I believe. This bit's, I feel like, I don't know if it's glass or ceramic, but this bit's plastic. This is either glass or ceramic, and that's the back. Oh, by the way, I have my Vivienne Westwood snail bracelet on today because I want it to be a bit weird. So the cap just comes off like that, and you have the sprayer. Okay, So Chinatown by Bond Number 9 is one of the standout fragrances for me from this company. The others being New Harlem, I really love, and Silver Factory, or Andy Warhol's Silver Factory. I love them both. And this was actually made by the same nose as Silver Factory. And that's another kind of strange, hard to wear, juxtaposing fragrance. Sorry if I just made up that word, juxtapositioning. I don't know what the right way of saying it is. I know what I mean. But of those fragrances, I would say this one's the most feminine. And all the fragrances, I believe, can be they're pretty much unisex. With niche fragrances, I find that men tend to like to wear them anyway. But I would say this one is probably targeted more towards women. It would smell great on a man as well. But of the three I've just mentioned, this is probably the most feminine. Oh, sorry about that, sirens. Okay, so this fragrance has a lot of different notes. It's very unusual. So it opens up with peach blossoms and bergamot. The heart has gardenia, honey and tuberose, peony and orange blossom, and the base has patchouli, cedar, vanilla, sandalwood, cardamom and guaiac wood. Probably said that wrong. Guaiac wood. I'm not sure how you say that. So it is a white floral. I would say it's kind of a floriental fragrance. There's a little bit of a spiciness to it. It's not too spicy. It's not as spicy as, say, Le Dandy, which is the female version of Le Dandy, which is a lovely. It's actually similar to this in some ways. It's a very nice kind of peachy, spicy fragrance. It's not as spicy as that fragrance, but it is a little bit spicy. When I think of white florals, I always think of tuberose fragrances, and this obviously does have tuberose in it. I'm not a big fan of tuberose. It always gives me a headache. I've had to give away a few fragrances in the past because they've been very heavy on the tuberose, and it's just not something that I personally like. One tuberose fragrance I really do like is L'Artisan Parfumé's Le Chasou Papillon. I think that's a beautiful tuberose fragrance. This one obviously is a white floral. It has tuberose in it, but the tuberose is not strong at all. The notes that I find the strongest in this is probably the orange blossom, the honey, the vanilla, and also there's a distinctive incense note which isn't listed in the notes, but I feel like these notes combine to make an incense note. It's a little bit jarring. It's not a very smooth, easy to wear fragrance. You do have to think a little bit when you wear this. It's not as jarring as Silver Factory because that has this strange kind of metallic iris note in it. This one it's not hard to wear, but it's not easy to wear either, if that makes sense. I feel like it's challenging, it's fun, it's mature, it's a lot of different things. It's both mature and youthful, if that makes sense. So that's why I think it suits so many different age ranges. So it is it is a sweet fragrance. It's not candy sweet, it's not especially gourmand. It just has a little element of kind of sweet floral, sweet undertones, sweet incense, sweet vanilla. It has all those things, but it is essentially a floral fragrance. Now, without looking at the notes, what this actually kind of makes me think of in an ideal kind of scenario is a market stall with all the spices and like a really exotic market stall where you've got all the different smells coming from different stalls, spice peaches, all the kind of cooking foods coming together, not disgusting cooking foods, but and you've also got a flower shop where the flowers are coming in. It is kind of I feel like the notes aren't smooth together, they work separately from each other, and so you do have that imagery of the smells coming in from different places instead of all being together from the beginning. I'm sorry about the poster, a bit unfortunate that it just above my head like that. Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman kissing above my head. A bit weird. Okay. Back onto the topic. I've made videos now for 4 years and they're just not getting any more organised, so yeah. You just have to kind of deal with the fact that my videos are never organised. So the lasting power on this fragrance, it's quite good lasting power. I feel like when you wear it, you're surrounded in like a beautiful Chinatown cloud. It is one of those fragrances that kind of trails behind you when you walk, which I love. I like the perfumes I wear to give off like a good sillage, like, you know, I like people to notice what I'm wearing. I don't want something to be so subtle that only I can wear it. It's not super powerful on the other hand though. It's not like Angel or, you know, Alien, which people from like, you know, the next town can smell you. It's not that strong, but it is strong enough that you know, someone will probably notice you wearing this. So I feel like for the price, well, if you can get this at a discount, it's a really beautiful fragrance. It's obviously a higher end niche, not the highest end, but it's highest end. I can't speak at all today. It's not the highest end niche that is out there, but it's not as cheap as like L'Artisan or Italia d'Orange or anything like that. It's you know, a bit more expensive. So, you know, if you can get this at a good price, I would definitely recommend it. I think that they should really, and Katie Puckrup said this as well in her Chinatown review, they should really make smaller sizes and have them more readily available for people, because this one in particular I feel like would draw in a lot of younger people if only they knew it existed. Luckily I do, so I have it. But yeah, I really love this. It's so unusual. I feel like it suits my personality perfectly. It's a little bit messy, it's a little bit unusual, but essentially it's a really, really good fragrance in my opinion. Okay, so I hope this video made sense. I know that my videos are always a little bit unorganised. I don't really know what I'm saying. I just blame my artistic temperament, and I blame like all the different elements of personality not working out. Okay, thank you very much for watching. I hope that this helped some of you decide if you want to try this or not. Thank you very much. Goodbye.